my kingdom for a fucking editor. Welcome back to my favorite part of the week, where we sit down to read Goodreads reviews of the different books to figure out, are they actually worth adding to our reading list? Because at this point, we are thrown to the edge of our sanity. I have lost the will to live. The amount of boring books I keep getting recommended, I can't. And today's book is Powerless by Elsie Silver. Wait, no, Lauren Roberts. I keep confusing the two. One is fairies, one is cowboys. I know the difference. They are not the same. Let's get into it. She is the very thing he spent his whole life hunting. He is the very thing she spent her whole life pretending to be. I am confused, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Ilia. The exceptional, the empowered, the elites. This is Hunger Game for fairies and you can't tell me otherwise. The powers these elites have possessed for decades were graciously given to them by the plague, though not all were fortunate enough to both survive the sickness and reap the reward. The reaping? Come on, okay. Those born ordinary are just that. Ordinary. And when the king decided that all ordinaries be banished in order to preserve his elite society, lacking in ability suddenly became a crime, making Peyton Gray a felon by faith and a thief by necessity. Surviving in the slums as an ordinary is no simple task, and Peyton knows this better than most. Okay, two things. Number one, I know this is science fiction, but why do we refuse to give people a name that we can actually pronounce? Because I don't know if any of these names are making sense. And also, surviving in the slums as an ordinary is no simple task. It's sounding so much like surviving in the districts is no simple task. Like, I swear, this has 624,000 ratings. I refuse to believe that I am the first person who has made this connection. Why didn't nobody tell me that? And I don't want this to sound like I'm judging. I'm not judging. I'm down. Having been trained by her father to be overly observant since she was a child, Peyton poses as a sidekick in the crowded city, blending in with the elites as best she can in order to stay alive and out of trouble. Easier said than done. Dun 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 dun. When Peyton unsuspectingly saves one of Ilias's prince, she finds herself thrown into the purging trials. Stop it! The brutal competition exists to showcase the elite's power, the very thing Peyton lacks. Okay, first of all, right? Secondly, I'm calling it right now. The woman has powers. I think she's a woman. The name is too ambiguous. It's a she, right? It is a she. Okay, she's gonna have powers. I'm calling it. And yes, I'm the annoying friend that guesses the plot twist like 10 minutes in. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's filing feelings for certainly will, if he discovers what she is. Completely ordinary. She's not ordinary, people. We know this. This book has like a trilogy. Side note, this book was actually selected by the YouTube community, so make sure you're subscribed so you get notified the next time I put a poll out and you can pick the next book. But back to the video. An editor, my kingdom for a fucking editor. No kingdoms were harmed in the making of this review. I am what some sexist pigs would call a basic bitch. Samesies. If you give me a tall, dark-haired, sarcastic, morally gray guy in a romantasy that combines some of my favorite books and tropes while still keeping some sense of originality, I'll be content. Same girl, doesn't even need to be romantasy. I will take him in every flavor and every genre. This book had all of that. Well, the tall, dark-haired MMC and a romantasy part, excluding the originality and the morally gray part, but I'll get to that. Lauren said Powerless was if the child of the Hunger Games and Red Queen didn't look anything like its parents. I told you! See, if that were true, then this review wouldn't exist. And I know I'm the myopic bitch of the Prime Meridian, but this was exactly like its parents, as well as Shatter Me and The Selection. Oh my god, that's it! The Selection! It's giving The Selection vibes. I don't know if you've read it. Oh my god. It was the thing prior to like the dystopian YA revolution. In fact, I was so angry about it that I made a whole list. And then I realized that this wasn't really an unpopular opinion at all. But before I get to all the ways this book was unoriginal, which I had already flagged just by reading the little snippet, I'm going to criticize everything else. And if you don't want to read about that or watch, then scroll away. Do not throw a tantrum in the comment section because someone expressed their criticisms about a book that you enjoyed. It's incredibly immature and quite frankly hilarious/stupid because you're wasting your time writing a comment that I'm just going to delete after screenshotting it and sending it to the group chat. As a reader, I 1000% back Sophia up on this, and also as an author, like if you like a book, make a review, please, thank you. But if you don't like it, like you're still allowed your own opinions and still allowed to make a video about it. And I know that in the Romantasy section we have definitely gotten some hates every single time we criticize a popular book. But like, it's a book. Not everyone is gonna like it. The same way all of these dark romance books that I've made videos on aren't for everyone, and they are for me. And I have been having a good fucking time. Anyway, let's talk about something that actually wasn't criticized that much. The writing. For a debut novel, it wasn't that bad. For a book hyped up to the point where it could be mistaken as the greatest literary masterpiece this generation could ever bear to witness, it was trash. Appreciate the honesty. It read like an unedited draft who was both half finished and yet too long at the same time, with the typos only making it worse. Every sentence was so long-winded, with synonyms upon synonyms being thrown into one sentence, so it might sound like this deeply thought-out didactic monologue about how inflation has affected the economy to the point that Shakespearean sonnets are no longer analyzed correctly. It really is just an horny teenage boy trying to sound edgy. Not to put a damper on the review, but have you actually met a horny teenage boy with an inflated sense of ego? Because they do sound a bit. And serious question, have recent authors heard of show not tell? I am not an Indian, incapable of coming up to my own conclusions. Thank you very much. I don't need to be told about just how morally questionable Prince Crab's guy is, when I should just be able to infer from what the author implies. Except the author isn't implying anything. For fuck's sake, this dude barely killed anyone. The bar is in hell. Like, how many people does one have to murder in order to be considered a villain? Just asking. Not to draw parallels, but the Sons of Erebus have murdered a few hundred people, and I am kind of down with that. On top of that, the sheer amount of times I read Blue Eyes, Smoky Eyes, Ocean Eyes was enough to put me off reading forever. Billie Eilish is crying through her aquamarine orbs right now. I can't read the word orbs without being transported back to Wattpad era. The amount of One Direction fanfics that come to mind. And the amount of times these characters were huffing and puffing. For the love of all that is holy, use an inhaler. Someone's lips were always twitching into a smile, or someone was snorting, chuckling, blinking, eyeing something or someone, or Peyton was being called vicious little thing by Kai, which only succeeded in me receiving fourth wing flashbacks. Kai was always flicking Peyton's nose for no given reason. That actually hurts. Like, I don't think that's cute. Why did I do that to myself? Plus, the inner monologues were also the most repetitive thing I have ever read, which really helped make the book incredibly long and boring, with the pacing losing to a snail in a 500-meter run. It's filled with so much banter and such eye-rolling dialogue that after a certain point, you begin to wonder how on earth the MCs would cope without hearing themselves speak, as well as so many trope-centered and pointless scenes. If you don't believe me yet, screw you and read this list of tropes. Knife, dagger, arrow through the throat, every other page. Enemies to lovers, not on a single page. Insta-lust, slow burn. Who did this to you? She's so small. Forbidden romance, cleaning each other's wounds. I love that. Comforting each other after a nightmare. Oh, that's my favorite. Stop it. The most unnecessary love triangle. Only one love interest has a POV. Some stupid trials that have no history and don't even make sense. And the street thief trope that has been overused. There was no way Peyton could have survived a day in the streets with the amount of stupid shit that she pulled. Did no one notice her wonderfully amazing, most gorgeous, beautiful, stunning, oh so rare, never before seen hair color while she was off pickpocketing the rich? I'm very sure no one did, seeing as it wasn't mentioned on every other page. Now it's time for more stupid things. So many stupid things. So many. A trained soldier is dancing in the middle of a deathly arena because he likes a girl. Wow, what a great idea. It's totally not going to get your dumbass killed. And now they're playing dumb thumb war. Wait, what? They're actually playing thumb war in a deadly arena. What I should have done was laugh in his face before making him go down the staircase first. But I've thrown caution to the wind and acely replaced it with curiosity. Yeah, great idea. Go down a dark, damp, dank, dirty, dusty, secret stairway with a guy you're not even sure you should trust. Great idea. I can practically hear Sadie blink behind me. She's clearly stunned by his lack of concern, especially after seeing the two of us dancing together only minutes ago. I would be stunned myself if I wasn't so used to seeing his masks, if I didn't recognize the cold one he just slipped on. Every romantasy ever, because God forbid a man shows his feelings. Something begins burning inside of me, but I ignore it, not bothering to acknowledge the jealousy painting the Ilias Kingdom color. I don't even know if that is a sentence. Is that a sentence? Oh, but Little Miss Peyton Gray over here was no better. Every part about her needed a special mention or two. Even her ass. As soon as my ass got numb from sitting on that bloody stump, I stood and paced circles around our camp before splashing cold water from the creek on my face and body. Then my ass got cold, and I moved next to the fire to lie down on the hard ground I'm so familiar with. Oh my god, I can't even read that without boring myself to death. Moving on, let's go back to Peyton, seeing as my love for her runs oh so deep. She's Katniss's not like other girls cousin who decides to insult the fuck out of you the minute you're stood in a 2-mile radius of any guy. I wanted to claw her eyes out when she began with her play the part shit, which I'm pretty sure she was ripping off the selection. Anyway, according to this very unbiased book, Miss PayPal over here had exactly 0 flaws. Her only weakness was her infinite love for others.
Which was clearly evidenced when her seamstress friend is introduced yet barely ever mentioned, when our darling Pay finally realizes that she forgot about her after she was whisked away to the palace to become a princess overnight. She has the audacity to ignore her the entire time because she's too busy fawning over Princess Cahoot.
Don't you just love our 2012 Wattpad heroine? Now for Prince Crabs! Yay! Honestly, he was the funniest character in the book by far. His lines weren't just cheesy and cringy, they were downright stupid too. He really is the whole package. Swoons. He was as bland as unseasoned chicken. And annoying. Very annoying. The only thing he ever managed to kill was my sanity. Damn, you really do paint a picture, woman. He's also managed to ruin the world darling for me forever, which, you know, great. Morally gray my ass. He's a Walmart Kaz insulting to Kaz, but still. He has no true redeeming qualities, and for that reason, I quite frankly believe that him and P-Brain really deserve each other. If you think I am joking about the amount of parallels to the Hunger Games, let me present a side-by-side. All of the tropes in the Hunger Games that are also in Powerless.
Loss of a father teaching the daughter archery, the father being skilled at archery, FMC has a makeover. What's your favorite color?
Because why not copy-paste lines of dialogue into your book and pass it off as your own?
Partners in the arena and an arena, the leaders making children fight to death, someone we liked dies tragically in the arena, who also had to be a brown girl with curly hair.
What the fuck?
Someone places flowers on their graves. They watch the highlights of the arena with the upper class enjoying watching teenagers kill each other. The highlights are filmed in an odd way. The host of the interview, whatever, has a unique appearance. The screenings of the arena are shown with all the romance stuff, and this is just oh so shocking to everyone. Comforting each other after a nightmare.
Again, I fucking love that. Please never take that away. I don't care if you're a Romantasy author, a regular, any author of any kind. Never ever get rid of it.
There are silver parachutes with gifts from sponsors. Everyone dying at the end of one of the trials. The same thing towards / at the end of the first book.
If you have actually made it this far and are not entirely disappointed by Powerless, I don't know what to tell you. But I do thanks of you for her honest review because you have saved me countless reading hours, and for that, we thank you, Queen. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, please let me know in the comments below because I always have such a fun time making them. Also, shout out to Vasha who commented on my last video and said they were really fun. I hope you enjoyed this one. Clearly, I'm not the intended audience for this book, but hey, you might be.